Hello everyone and welcome back to some good old StarCraft 2. Today we're gonna have a look at a couple of replays that are submitted by the man right here in the bottom right hand corner of Curious Minds. With the blue Terran pieces, we have none other than, well, apparently his nickname is Casper in this game, but you probably know him under the nickname of uThermal. uThermal, of course, one of the very best Terrans from the European server. He's been doing this series recently that I'll talk a bit more about in just a second. First off, his opponent in the top left hand corner, or should I say victim. Playing here with the red Protoss probes, we are looking at Rumix's main Nexus. Now Rumix, okay, has decided to start off this particular game with a bang. So real quick, I guess I need to introduce you exactly what's going on. Rumix is currently sitting right around 5,000 MMR. So that means he is, depending on the server that these games are being played on, he's either like a low Grandmasters or he's in high Master League. uThermal recently started up a series called Ghosts to Grandmasters, meaning that he started at the very bottom of the ladder and he's climbing his way all the way up through the ranks until eventually Grandmaster League. Meaning that in this particular match, as well as the other games that we're going to be having a look at today, he's going to be playing Ghosts only. Here's why it kind of hurts me a little bit to watch these matches. I usually play right around the MMR that Rumix is currently at. I mean, I can reach Grandmasters as well, but I can definitely not reach Grandmasters playing silly strategies, okay? I have to be a sweaty nerd. I have to go full try-hard in order to make my way to low Grandmasters, and I think that's pretty good, right? And then you have these pro gamers coming along, and apparently, yeah, hitting GM alone and just climbing the ladder all the way to the top ranks is not enough. They apparently have to add additional challenges to it as well. Anyhow, how exactly does a proxy gateway fare against a Ghost Rush? So there's the Ghost Academy coming up. Ghosts, of course, are going to be quite good. Okay, if Rumix were to go right now, I actually think it could deal some damage because the Ghosts obviously require a Ghost Academy as well as a tech lab and a barracks, and obviously you need to have supply available, plus the units themselves are also rather expensive. Anyways, Ghost number 1 coming up at the 2-minute mark. Looks like he's waiting for the second Zealot to be available too, so you know what? As long as the wall is up, yeah, as long as he can just keep repairing this back up to full, I think he will be okay. He's waiting right now. So the idea of the max specs opener is to, well, force a command center console that's usually building at this point on the low ground. In a game like this, though, that's not happening, and that's obviously one of the reasons why these games can work out, just because it's so silly. Alright, there's the first steady targeting. Ghost managed to already pick up a 1 kill. So real quick, Ghosts in a way, they're kind of like a MOBA unit, right? They're kind of like a League of Legends or like a Dota hero or champion or whatever you want to call it. They have 4 different abilities or 3 main skills and then obviously also an ultimate. So first off, they have that ability we just saw, the snipe. Basically, the ability needs to channel for 1.5 seconds. Then if the unit is still in range at that point, it will take a whole lot of damage. However, if the Ghost obviously takes any damage while that ability is channeled, it's all cancelled. Ooh, alright, that's one way to get the units out. Secondly, they have another skill called EMP, which will come in very handy, especially against Protoss. It will remove any energy out of units if it's landed, obviously in a circle, so in an AoE area, an area of effect. And then also, obviously, it can remove the shields out of Protoss units temporarily, which is pretty sweet. And then I've got the cloaking ability if that research is done. And I think that's exactly what uThermal is going for right here. He wants to get to the other side of the map as fast as possible. This is going to be close. Observer will be out. I mean, Cloak is this... Yeah, okay, it's done right now, but there's the Observer. Excellent movement right here by Rumix. Never say die. How many workers can we actually kill? So this is the issue, right? When you climb up on the ladder, you're not going to rely on people anymore that will just build photon cannons, because if that were to be the case, I think that he would have just gone into the main base, and this would have been GG right from the get-go. But Casper will not be able to obtain the victory that easy. Anyways, once they reach a certain level, once they're cool enough, they also do unlock their ultimate ability, and that is, of course, the Tactical Nuke. Tactical nukes need to be researched inside of the Ghost Academy. Every Ghost Academy can hold 1 at a time. So if you want to go for multiple nukes, you'll have to, well, make multiple Ghost Academies. This is, by the way, a series as well that Mr. uThermal is uploading to his own YouTube channel. So if you're interested in watching his point of view, I'll go ahead and post a link to the playlist down below in the description of this video so you can go check it out. Shout out to uThermal for submitting these replays to me. Very interested to see how this will play out. Ooh, I forgot about that, actually. Ghosts are very thick units. Only 2 of them can fit in a bunker at once. They kind of look like Marines, I suppose. They're not as muscular or as bulky as like a Marauder. But apparently only 2 of them can fit inside of a bunker, man. Maybe they need a lot of personal space. I'm not exactly sure. Anyways, 1 Ghost was leaving the natural right there. Tactical nuke at this point is coming up. Rumix in the meantime, making all the right choices, I believe. Going for the Ghost Academy. Oh, sure, going for the Ghost Academy. Going for the Nexus right here on the left side of the map. He knows about the Ghost Academy, so... Is he at this point realizing as well that his opponent is just going for mass ghosts? I'm not so sure. Well, he's got multiple observers. Yeah, not bad. He needs to be careful, though. Ooh, alright. Well, the nuke is not done yet. Okay, so in order to nuke, you do need vision of where you want to nuke. You can't just nuke through the fog of war. So I think that maybe uThermal tried to go in for the nuke just now, but he didn't actually, have it finished just yet. Oh, okay. Anyways, our first nuke of the day. And I say first nuke of the day because I think there's going to be multiples. This is a curious position, though. Is there going to be enough damage over here? Well, there's going to be a little bit. Same point on the other side of the map. EMP is being utilized right now, too. Ghosts are actually dealing an awful lot of damage. Yeah, so ghosts are a bit of a funny unit because while they look like Marines, right? You would imagine that like 4 of them could fit in a bunker at once, for example. They are quite a bit tankier. I mean, they can definitely take a bit more damage than a Marine can. So because mass ghost is not usually a strategy that's played, it can be a little bit confusing as to what exactly needs to be done and what the situation is currently actually like. It can be really quite easy to overextend when you're playing against mass ghosts and just, underestimate the strength of these units. Like, I don't know how this works out either. Like, 7 Stalkers or so against like 5 Ghosts? How does that work out? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. Especially with EMPs, they can do a lot of damage. There's once again the Cloak. As long as the Observer is killed, I think, a relatively high amount of damage can be done. Alright. Tactical nuke number 2. Rumix, are you paying attention? Rumix. Oh, I don't think he sees it. If you do it perfectly, oh my god. Yeah, if you land it right dead in the center of the structure, it can be extremely difficult for the opponent to find the red dot, especially if they're playing with the red colors themselves. Here's the real problem, though. An observer right now is available on the high ground. EMP can be used to reveal the observer, too. SCVs are going to be pulled away from their main task. It's still 2 base versus 2 base, right? So it's not like it's the end of the world right here for the Protoss player either, but he does feel like he's under a lot of pressure right now, especially because there's ghosts inside of his natural as well. Ghosts over here, once again, activating their cloak. The observer does definitely have quite a bit of range. All the SCVs at this point in the natural are pretty much killed, but the ghosts are dealing a ton of damage from a distance. At the same time, the ghosts on the other side of the map have also picked up quite a few kills. There's another nuke flying straight through the map. That one's going to take care of that one pylon that's powering practically everything. At the same point, there's also still some of those ghosts inside of the map. No! Not the Stalkers! No! Oh my god, okay. Well, there's some ghosts over here in the main base too. They're going to be able to pick off the units that are running in for the defense. And I believe just like that, it's uThermal who obtains the victory here in our first game of the day. There's nothing that our Protoss player can do. There it is. Alright. Our second game is on Pride of Alteris. Gotta say, that first match was fantastic. Anyways, in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our next victim. A Zerg player that could have been me. Playing currently in High Masters at above 5,000 MMR, we have Elijah. Elijah. What you don't realize is that you're playing against one of the best players on the European server. That's the problem, right? Like, people ask this all the time, like, who's the best random player in the world, right? Because it's an obvious progression after discussing who the best Terran is, who the best Zerg player is, who the best Protoss player is, right? Who the best random player is kind of tricky, but if Cyril decides to play his off races for a while, it's probably him just because he's considered to be the best player in the world overall, right? Even when playing weird stuff and even playing things that you may not necessarily be as comfortable with, it turns out pro gamers are still good at the game. I know, this may come as a surprise, but pro gamers are good at the video game. They are professionals. I know, this is kind of wild. I have played against Mass Ghost in the past as a Zerg player. I mean, I play against it every single game in the late game against Terran these days, I suppose, but a little bit of a different start, though, in this particular match, I'm sure. Generally speaking, you need to get Zerglings and Banelings out. Like, your best counter is Zergling, Baneling, most of the time. If you can roll the Banes into the Ghosts, that's the way to clean them up very easily, right? If, however, Elijah decides to go for some Roach shenanigans, or if he goes for Ravager openers and all that, Snipe is going to be amazing against that, and I would be a little bit concerned. But overall, I've got a feeling that a game like this would be... Against Protoss, it probably is, well, at least seemingly, at least in my mind, a little bit more straightforward because of EMP and all that. But maybe not, I don't know. Terran versus Terran would be really tricky, actually, with Ghost only. Yeah, you'd have to land some nukes. Anyways, a little bit of a later Ghost Academy this time around because Mr. Casper here has decided to go for a CC on the low ground. So the command center is coming up. We're actually building up some economy this time. So that means more ghosts, I suppose. Alright, here goes the Overlord. When is this Zerg player gonna realize that something's not quite right? There's a pillar over here that you can use if you really want to, but... Yeah, normally you do fly a little bit further forward just to confirm, right? So normally you expect that there's gonna be a reactor building on a barracks and then a factory usually right next to it, so you can start pumping out those Hellions 2 at a time. Sniping an Overlord in the early game is actually surprisingly annoying. Like, we're already getting to the point... Elijah, what are we even doing right now? Okay, Elijah went for a super quick lair. No third queen, no third hatch. I'm not exactly sure what his option is here. Anyways, when he loses his Overlord, he is gonna be slowed down quite a bit. Snipe it. Snipe it. Snipe it. Snipe it. Snipe it. Yep. There you go. There you go. Nicely done. I'm not exactly sure what his plan is. He's decided to go for an evolution chamber right at this point. Maybe Elijah is playing his own Mute Us to Grandmaster series or something along those lines. Anyhow, that's going to be a very quick lair. This could be a Nidus Worm as well if he's really feeling ambitious. That Roach Warren, though, isn't lined up particularly well with the timing right there of the lair. So I'm a little bit confused exactly about what this Zerg player is doing. Okay, gases are coming up. This definitely is some sort of all-in, isn't it? Lair's going to finish up. I would imagine a Nidus network. He needs to stop droning, though, if he wants to go for a Nidus network. What are we doing here, Mr. Zerg? Huh? It's... okay. Is it just a +1 Roach speed opener? What a terrible build. Not a fan whatsoever. Anyhow, third command center about halfway done. First ghosts are already out. They've reported for duty. That one right there on the right side. The one that's not facing the camera because he's too cool for that. Yeah, see? Too cool. I already mentioned that. Everyone stares at him because he's the true badass that's been responsible for sniping that Overlord. I'm very confused, though, by this Zerg build order. Now he's gonna go for a third? Is this what you guys feel like whenever I do viewer-submitted games? Where you're watching and you're like, okay, this guy that's being casted by Lowko right now is in the same league that I am in. And then you watch them play and you're like, what? Is this what my games look like? Now, my MMR is usually a little bit higher than Elijah's. I think I peaked at like 5.5k, so this is around 5k. 500 MMR is quite a bit, but... yeah, that's one of the most popular comments on the viewer-submitted games in particular. People are like, Lowko, there's no way that this is Platinum 1 or Gold 3 or, you know, Diamond League. Right? None of that could possibly be the case, because that would mean that I am at the same level of these guys! Anyways, triple Ghost Academy at the 5-minute mark. This is a bit of a slower game, mostly because there's no Hellion harassment. Because of that, since there is no Hellion harassment, you'd imagine that Zerg already would be at like 80 drones here. Maybe not 80, but at least 60. Elijah apparently scouted out roughly what the opponent is going for. Maybe that's also the reason why he decided to go straight into the lair. Having some form of mobile detection would be helpful, but this is the first time in which he finally morphs in an overseer, so I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, triple nuke. Triple nuke being researched all at once. 300 minerals, 300 gas in total. Not cheap, but definitely not too expensive either. Okay, there is a starport coming up in the bottom left. Okay, so maybe at this stage in the challenge, maybe uThermal has given himself at least a little bit of wiggle room as well to go into like one medevac, right? I think that is okay. I think a medevac, it's barely even an attacking unit unless you make it like a core part of your army and you actually use it to heal the ghost back up. I don't think it's really that big of a deal, but you mostly treat it as like a... Well, how are you going to deal with this? Anyways, we mostly treat it, I guess, as like a transport, right? No planetary fortress anywhere. Double upgrades? Oh my god, we're gonna go for a defensive nuke? He just nuked his own ramp. No way. No way this is gonna work. Elijah, if you walk into that red dot right there, I'm gonna cry. No! No, 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 no. Oh no. He nuked that. Like... He nuked that after seeing the army coming across. That was the way... To be fair, I guess in Elijah's defense, right? He probably thought that the nuke would be executed on his side of the map. So he's like, go forth, my roaches, up the ramp you go. And then he's desperately looking around his, you know, bases over here, trying to figure out if there's a red dot on one of his structures. So I think that's probably what just occurred there. He did not think of the fact that the nuke would be activated in advance before the army would even be running up that ramp. Excellent timing right there. This one ghost over here. 27 confirmed kills. That's the OG ghost right over there. That's the one on the right that just did all that damage. I was gonna say, did we even lose anything so far? But I guess 3 SCVs in total. I guess with ghosts to Grandmasters, it would technically be possible as well to play the flawless game. This is, by the way, the original ghost. Yeah, pretty sick. It would technically be possible to play a perfect game in the sense that you don't lose anything. It would be possible. Hard, but possible. Alright. Medevac drop. Coming in. Tactical nuke being activated. I think there's going to be another tactical nuke as well, moving on over towards the third base as well as the natural. So we have triple tactical nuke in every single one of the bases. One. Which one went first? I don't know. I don't know which one came first. There's the second one. Okay, there's the third. Well, that's one way to, at the very least, kill a couple of overlords. A good response this time around by Elijah, but Elijah actually is kind of being toyed with, man. He really needs to get himself an overseer out, maybe use it to try and snipe down the ghosts that are trying to snipe you, because if you don't, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. There's a reason why normally we go for, well, for example, a couple of spore crawlers inside of the bases too. Definitely not a bad idea. The OG ghost, is that this one? I think it must be. Still alive. Oh my god, that's a lot of ghosts. That is a lot of ghosts. 18 of them available right now. Yeah, so the medevac is being used as a tool to transport the units around. I think that's fair game, okay? I know there's gonna be some people that are like, oh, Lowko, that's not a good... Okay, look, calm down, okay? This is for fun. Here we go. Couple of snipes coming up. So how does, like, a dozen roaches fare against a dozen... Yeah, no, not well. Not well. Not well at all, no. You definitely will need Lings and Banes. My god. Mass Ghost actually deals surprisingly well with the hatchery, doesn't it? That's hilarious. They don't have Stimpaks or anything like that, right? Some of them have run out of energy at this point, so they do have to be a little bit cautious. Only one medevac available, so no real way. Okay, he's sniping the overseers. The overseers to keep the ones that do still have cloak available alive. He needs to counter. Okay, by backing off. I think he's not using the... Yeah. So look, uThermal is a man of honor, okay? Keeping at the very least majority of the... Well, I was gonna say, I think he was gonna sacrifice all of the ghosts. Never mind, he's not a man of honor after all. I thought he was gonna stick true to the challenge and not use the medevac here for defense. I think it's still fine, it still counts. Planetaries can obviously also be used for the base defense. Yeah, not a bad idea. That's definitely not enough Zerg to get rid of that planetary over there. So he'll be fine for now. He could have sacked those 3 ghosts as well. But maybe they had names. Yeah, this is the one over here with 29 kills, okay? This is the one with 9 kills, so maybe these are the original nukers. I understand keeping those alive. Those are the most important ones. Yeah, ghosts really are a good unit, aren't they? What do you think is the best unit in all of StarCraft 2? If you had to pick one unit, what do you think the best one is? Let me know down below in the comment section. I would imagine it's probably the Queen or the Ghost. Maybe High Templar are good too, but not quite at that level, right? Nah, they're not quite at that level. I mean, I know there's gonna be someone who says like Mothership. I guess, yeah, sure. The Mama Ship is indeed very good, but like, they're seldomly made. Archons are also very good, but definitely not at the level of the Ghost or the Queen. Yeah, I think Ghost and Queen are probably the best one. Hard to say though, maybe I'm forgetting something right now. In my defense, I've only been playing this game for like 12 years, okay? So how am I supposed to know all the units at the top of my head? No, I think, yeah, Ghosts and Queens are definitely up there. So this is a little hit squad over here to try and deal some damage too. Another hit squad in the top right-hand corner. They need to be very careful. This medevac just flying through the Zerg bases. Oh, okay. You know what? I kind of like it. Yep. There's a couple of locations here. That spot over there is mental. Look at that location. Does he notice? He might not notice. He might not tell. Okay, no, he did tell. Okay, he probably noticed the dot on the minimap. That is a crazy little nuke over there that I've never actually seen before. 5 ghosts being produced right now at once. Mass Command Center, my god. There's 2 more Ghost Academies coming up as well. Well. That's a lot of Command Centers. Yeah, not really what I expected at this point in the game. I didn't think we were gonna see a macro match like this, but this is a proper macro game. Okay, so this base will be destroyed. It's mostly because the Zerg player seems to be thoroughly confused about what it is that he needs to be doing. He's making the right units right now, but he's giving his opponent a lot of wiggle room. He's only 63 workers too. I wouldn't be surprised if Elijah is secretly a bit of a cheeser, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if Elijah normally like wins the game by the 3-minute mark. Or at least the 7-minute mark, and he's like, okay, 13 minutes, what do you do? Snipes right there on the Banelings. Let's do some splitting. uThermal, one of the best micro-terrans, of course. Yeah, his splits are fantastic. That planetary will go down, but the reason why normally that works... Another base does get picked off, by the way, or at least... oh my god, the splits are phenomenal! Another reason why usually, though... what was I gonna say? Okay, it doesn't even matter anymore. GG is already cold. And just like that, uThermal obtains the victory in a bit of a faster game, but also in what seemed like a longer macro match.